Hello, I'm Kimberlie Acosta, and we're here on RezStyle with Glenda Begay. She lives down in Chicago and she's raised her 3 boys, and she goes on the Powwow trail with her husband and family, and they have all these businesses, and she's just an inspiration, I think, for Indian country, and I wanted to share with you her story. Can you tell us where you're from and tell me about your family a little bit?
Okay, I'm originally from Santo Domingo, Pueblo, known as Kiowa, and but now I reside in Chicago, Illinois, and I'm a proud mother of 3 boys, and they're all men now. And we do the Powwow Trail because it's our way of life now, since we're away from our pueblos and our reservation. And I'm married to a Navajo man, so he grew up in Chicago, so we call Chicago home, and that's where we all reside in. So to keep our traditions and stuff living in a big city, you know, we focus on family traditions, and that's what's really kind of kept us together, and our family bond and our love. And but my husband's a silversmith, and I'm also, you know, I help him with silverwork, and I learned silverworking through my husband just by watching him. So I've learned a lot, so we both work together. And I also do arts and craft, beadwork, and I make regalias for my boys and, you know, whoever.
Tell us about they're the Begay boys, the famous Begay boys. This isn't just any boys. So tell us about the Begay boys.
Okay, well, yeah, they're known as the Begay boys. They're all brothers, of course, and they started off really. Their names, my oldest one, Samuel Begay IV, Jamie Natani Begay, and my youngest, Michael Robert Loopy Begay. So they're all well known. We've traveled the Powwow Trail since they were tiny tots, and they've been contesting dancing since they were in tiny tots and on up. So they still dance. So that's.
And you've been all over the world.
We've been all over the world. We've been to London, England. We've been to Singapore, and we traveled across United States. And you know, we still travel, and that's just what we love to do.
And you guys do not only do merchandise booths where you guys all make everything, a lot of what you sell, but you also have food booths, and then you guys dance. How do you do that all?
We just have to do what we got to do because, like I said, this is our way of life and it's our income. This is what we depend on to keep us afloat, you know. So, and living in Chicago, expenses really is expensive. So, you know, that's what keeps us going. And, you know, I do all the native food. I do Pueblo food, and we have a food stand, and then we have a craft stand. And, I mean, I guess we're just like jack of all trades.
And you're raising your grandchildren?
Yes, I took on 2 beautiful kids, and that's a blessing because all my boys, like I said, are all men now. So 2 little ones came into my world. So, you know, Sam and I were privileged to raise them as our own. Yeah, so it's like.
Tell us about them.
Their names are Elia Begay, she's 9 years old, and Raymond Begay, he's 8. So, and they're both dancing too. So, and they're just big characters. They keep Dad and they keep us going. So yeah, so they're just wonderful kids. So they're learning the ways too. They're following in their older brother's footsteps. So they're dancing in powwows too. So, and when they're not in school, they also help with crafts too. So they make little hair ties. So we sell those for them. So whatever they make off of that, that's what they use to go shopping. So yeah, Sam always tells me, quit spoiling them, you know, don't just give out money, make them earn it so they can learn what hard work is all about. So,
do they help you make the regalia?
Yes, they do. Actually, Elia helps me roll the cones and stuff, or she'll tie the knots for me for my jingles, and, you know, she does a lot of the pattern cutting for me. So I try to really teach them really young. So that's how I did with my boys. Like a lot of people are surprised that my boys can all cook. So yeah, so they all can cook. I taught them cooking, you know, since they were little. I always told them, you know, so in case you marry somebody that can't cook, so you won't be starving at home while she's at work, you know. So I taught them how to cook, and they all can make food, native food, and, you know, so yeah, like my youngest son, Michael, he just graduated culinary arts school, so, and then he landed a great job as a chef, so I'm really proud of him. So, and then the oldest one, he's taking care of my 2 beautiful granddaughters. And then Jamie, he's still living with us, but he's got some, well, he went to college for 2 years, so, and then he's got a year to go, so he's planning on going back this fall. So,
how do you raise 3 boys like that and make them turn into such gentlemen? I mean, I've known you guys and watched your boys grow up, you know, and in this day and age and in what's going on across Indian country, you know, you raised very, I don't know how you say it, you know, they're gentlemen, you know, and it's a hard thing to do in what's going on in the world today.
Well, it's really communication within our family. I think it plays a really big role. We always try to be open with our kids since they were young. You know, I like to know where my kids are since they were little, who their friends are, you know. And, you know, like I said, our traditions. And, you know, I come from a really strict background of traditions and, you know, was raised as being modest. And I think we're losing a lot of that with our young women nowadays. And I try to keep that going in our family. I'm teaching my daughter to be modest because I think that's really kind of stepping into, you know, being a very young, respectful woman. And, you know, I don't allow a lot of things in my home, and I try to keep my boys focused in the native ways as how I was raised and how my husband was raised too. So, and very, like I said, most important thing is communication and, you know, love, and then be there for your kids, you know. Like when they want to play sports, you know, we back them up, you know, 100%, you know, we're there, you know, supporting them every, you know, which way we can. And they went to the best of schools in Chicago, and, you know, we were there for them, you know. They played sports and they did very well in sports too. So, and then also on the weekends we go powwowing, and then, you know, so 100% mostly communication and, you know, just, you know, family dinners. That's where most of our important talks are, is family dinners. And when we eat family dinners, nobody eats in the living room. Nobody eats in their bedroom. You know, we all sit at the dining table, and we don't have a TV in there, and that's the time we all talk. And we talk about old stories, or they're always curious how I was raised on the reservation, because I grew up on the Pueblo. So, you know, I talk about how I was raised, you know, what I've done with my life, and, you know, being raised up in the Pueblos. And it's a lot of difference, you know, raising kids in this, you know, city life. So, yeah.
And you did it in the city life. I mean, that's huge.
Yes, it is.
Especially Chicago, you know.
There's a lot of things in Chicago, a lot of tempting things that my boys could have easily gone into, you know, like there's a lot of gangs, you know, which I was a little scared, you know, raising my boys in the city. But like I said, our traditions and our powwow traveling, you know, with arts and crafts, we try to keep them focused on that, you know. And like I said, you know, I hate to say, but, you know, I was a nosy mom, but, you know, being nosy moms, you know, it's not really bad. It's not a bad thing. Like I always tell my boys, I like to know where you're at, because, you know, I love you and I care about you, and, you know, I want to know who you're hanging with, you know. So I always make sure that they have a cell phone, you know, at least call me if you need me. So, but, you know, so that's, you know, I tell them that. So I always try to have them, you know, open up to me and stuff. So, yeah.
And you guys also in the winter time, I know that you guys plow, and you also do wholesale of a lot of your crafts, right?
Yes, we have a business during the winter months when we're not powwowing. So, and we have a snowplow business, and my husband and my sons run that. So we have a lot of clientele, and, you know, in Chicago where they snowplow. And when they do that, all I do is sit at home and take the, you know, calls in where they gotta be, and, you know, so I'm just sent them out and stuff, and so that's my job. Yeah, so my winter months are easy. I do that, and then I sew at the same time too, and I work on my arts and craft during the winter. And
have you always danced jingle?
Actually, well, like I said, I grew up in the Pueblo, and I was raised up doing traditional dances. Corn dances. August 4th is one of our big Santo Domingo feast days, and I usually dance, you know, when I was growing up, August 4th, and then Christmas week. I grew up dancing all kinds of dances, and, you know, I'm very thankful how I was raised, because my mother was a single mother. I lost my father when he was when I was really young. So my mother, you know, really stepped up and raised us kids, and she also raised a lot of my stepbrothers and stepsisters. So I think I find a lot of my strength through my mother, watching her, and she did a lot of sewing, and she's also a very good pottery too. So yeah, so I think I also learned the business through my mom, because she used to sell under the Portal in Santa Fe. She sell her pottery there, so. And then I, you know, sit with her under there, the Portal, and I watch her how she, you know, sells her pottery, how she does her business. And I think a lot of my business, you know, ways came from there, you know, from my mom. So my mom's is a really, you know, inspiration to my heart. So
Have you guys been back home to the reservation?
every now and then when I have a chance to, I do. But my mother's gone, and I didn't really come from a big family, but I still have relatives. So I try to go home whenever I can to visit some of my relatives. So but all the memories from there, it's still in my heart. So that can never fade away. So
If you could give us some advice on anything you want to give us advice on for any kids or mothers out there or business people, what would you like to share with us?
Just when when you have kids, just, you know, open up to your kids. Don't push them away. I mean, you know, nowadays, you know, kids need a lot of love. I think that's what's, you know, missing, you know, because a lot of mothers are starting to be workaholics, you know. But find time for your family, you know, even if it's just 15 minutes, you know, sit down, talk to them, because I still do that even with my older sons. I mean, my oldest one's going to be 26 this month, and, you know, I call my boys my babies. They can still sit on my lap. I don't care how old they are, but I still call them my babies, you know. And, you know, I miss them very much now that they have their own lives, you know, living their lives, but I, you know, miss them a lot. But, you know, communication is very important, and, you know, spend family time together. And, you know, even, you know, nowadays we make time, you know, on the weekend, even if it's Sunday or Monday night, we all go to the movies, and or we all go out to eat for dinner, you know. But, you know, find time for your family, you know, that's the most important thing. And, you know, because you have to be there for your kids, you know, guide them down the path, because we're the ones that were already lived our lives, and we know what's right and what's wrong. So,
well, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
All right, line it up.
I was a little bit nervous. I didn't know what you're going to ask me.
No, I just wanted to be a casual talk, you know, because I think what you have to do, you know, what you've done is important for the world to see. I mean, this isn't much, but it's at least something to give a little eye view of what you do.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in my mind I want to say, but